politicians who've been named in this list of shame. Maybe give us some of the names of these politicians and exactly what will the NCIC be doing with the names?
Absolutely. NCIC has really raised concern about the rising political temperature in the country, whereby we have been seeing incidents of political intolerance and hate speech. And according to NCIC, from this month moving forward, they will be forming a list. One of the lists is that there will be a list of shame and also a list of fame. And the list of shame will include names of people who are engaging in hate speech, incitement and also political intolerance. And this month, a number of MPs are featured in the list of shame. And one of them is, legislators Simba Arati, Silvanus Osoro. You remember they engaged in fist fight in Kisii the other day. And also another legislator is Johanna Ngeno, and also in Nairobi impeached Governor Mike Sonko. So the four leaders are featuring in this month's list of shame. They also have another list they call list of fame, whereby they will be putting names of those leaders who have been promoting cohesion, integration, and also peace. And in this month's list of fame, we have Fafi MP Mohamed Osman and also Njoro MP Charity Gadhambi. So the two are featuring the list of fame. NCIC says that any politician who will be, or any politician who will feature in this list of shame 3 times will now be promoted to the wall of shame, whereby if you appear on the wall of shame, they are going to liaise with other agencies like the IEBC to make sure that such people who have appeared in the list of shame 3 times won't be able to be eligible to be elected to any position in the country. And it says that is the political approach that they will be using to deal with politicians who are engaging in political intolerance. They're also saying that another approach that they will be using moving forward is the criminal approach, whereby they are working with a multi-agency team to ensure that those who engage in political intolerance and also incitement will be able to face prosecution moving forward. This is coming at a time when NCIC says that the political temperatures are so high, even though we are more than 1.5 years before the general election. And they're saying they are going to use these approaches to make sure that we are not going back to the dark days of the 2007-2008 post-election violence. Earlier on, the chair of NCIC, Dr. Samuel Kobia, talked about these issues, and this is what he said.
Intolerance that we have witnessed in the recent weeks and months are only symbolic of, symptomatic of what is likely to happen and even to get worse if it is not dealt with urgently. We need to deal with this intolerance because we know that this is what led us to the unfortunate situation of 2007-2008. Let us refuse to go back to the old days. Not now, not in 2022, and never in this country.
We are really waiting to see how NCIC is going to use this so-called sophisticated technology to try and fish out people who engage in hate speech and incitement on social media. And therefore, we are also going to see whether really this time round people are going to be prosecuted, because for a very long time people have accused NCIC for being a toothless bulldog, and therefore Kenyans will be waiting to see really if this time NCIC is going to bite. And therefore that is it for now. And remember, the bottom line is that they are saying that those politicians who are engaging in hate speech, incitement, are basically an insult to those who elected them. That is it for now. I'm taking you back to studio.
All right, thank you, Vincent Odwar. They're keeping tabs on that, on what is happening there. But also just to remind you with regards to that and what happened in Kisii County, we do have the Member of Parliament, Mugirango South, Silvana Osoro, as well as the Dagoretti North Member of Parliament, Simba Arati, will be appearing tonight at 6 p.m. this evening, actually, with our very own Salim Swale on Kigoda Chaka conversation. You do not want to miss that, 6 p.m. Keep that date. Our Siaya County Assembly has become the first county to pass the Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2020 as members of the County Assembly are currently debating the matter. It was an almost full house when a report on the public participation was tabled by the chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, Francis Otiato, who is also the member of County Assembly for East Yimbo Ward, and will be joining Okakusa for more details on exactly what is happening there. Meanwhile, officials and supporters of various political parties in Isiolo County have joined hands to roll out a joint civic education program on the Building Bridges initiative to drum up support for the document. This comes ahead of an unexpected visit by the Deputy President in the county set for the 13th of February. They say there are at least 19,000 signatures so far for the BBI proposal in the county.
BBI kwa sababu BBI imetuletea umoja wa kitaifa, BBI imeleta ufanisi na BBI pia imetuliza taifa letu la Kenya. Tumekuwa na amani. Taifa bila amani hatuwezi endelea mahali popote.
Hii kiti ya women rep iko at the verge of being scrapped. Ilikuwa imeintroduciwa ya kumotivate kina mama kutafuta kura, na ilikuwa ni kiti ya 10 years. Na 10 years so far inaenda kuisha 2022. Tayari kina mama washajua vile wanafaa kujitafutia kama ni kura. So tusinganganie kiti moja ilali viti zingine wa mama wameingizwa ndani na tumekuwa considered vilivyo.
Still matters politics. Kiharu, Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, now says the Sagana meetings led by President Uhuru Kenyatta has left the Mount Kenya region more divided than it was. Nyoro argues that the president failed to address the pertinent issues, including agriculture, that have affected the region. Nyoro says President Kenyatta should call on all the leaders to a meeting and not leave out others.
Nilisikia kule Sagana nafasi ile ilipatikana ya viongozi wetu. Number 1 was purely about BBI. Number 2, it was about William Ruto and saying there is no debt. I never heard of any other agenda that was discussed. And I'm worried because the president keeps telling us the BBI has nothing to do with 2022. William Ruto is not vying in 2017. He's vying in 2022. So if the meeting in Sagana was about BBI, then why was 3/4 of the time was about discussing one individual who is running for presidency in 2022? So BBI is rest and it is wrapped in matters about politics and it is purely about 2022. Na hiyo yote ndio iliongelewa.
Now, the Pokot Council of Elders is the latest group to weigh in on the situation in Tiaty constituency as it urges government to be mindful of human rights in the ongoing security operation. The council has also declared that it will soon conduct a ritual to cast those behind a series of killings in the volatile area. Banditry has become a common feature that has been wreaking havoc in Kapedo along the Baringo and Turkana border.
The Pokot Council of Elders chairperson John Muwok says that the elders are in support of the ongoing security operation in the area.
Watafutwe usiku na mchana, hata kwa kiingia kwa shimo gani itapatikana. Hata kama wanakuja West Pokot wakienda Turkana, wakienda Samburu, bado hawa ni walifu tu na watatafutwa na wapatikane.
The former Pokot Paramount Chief called on the government to review the disputed boundaries along county borders in the North Rift region, citing that it was the genesis of conflict among the neighboring communities in the area. Elder Muwok has hinted that soon elders from Turkana, Pokot, Samburu and Marakwet communities will visit the volatile area together with the security team to cuss and flush out bandits. He has called on the government to conduct the operation in all counties affected by insecurity. However, he cited that the ongoing operations should be done in a humane way.
Kisha mambo ya Land Commission tuone mambo ya mpaka. Inakuja kwa mambo ya mpaka. Na hii mpaka inajulikana mpaka hiyo tangu zamani maana haijafanywa review.
He added that the government should pursue bandits, pointing out that those perpetrators of banditry and cattle rustling in the area should be nabbed and brought to book. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Over 300 children in Muthuwani ward in Mavokos County are out of school weeks after the full reopening of schools across the country. Education stakeholders in the area now say this spells out an education crisis as many public schools closed during the pandemic, and the ones that are open are operating at full capacity. Parents also add that they do not have the money to fund their children's education at private institutions because of the pandemic's brutal effect on their finances. They're now calling on the Ministry of Education to intervene and construct more public schools so that their children can resume learning.
Wazazi wengi huku hawana uwezo wa kupeleka watoto wao shule. Unapata ni single mothers kwa mfano ambao hawezi kujimudu kupeleka watoto wao shule. Aswa ni serikali imelegea kwa sababu shule mingi hapa ni za kibinafsi. Shule za kiserikali ni shule ambazo ni chache sana.
Hii pesa ingine itoke kwa haraka ndio wananchi waweze kufaidika na basari, sababu watoto wengi hapa kwanza hapa kwa Muthuwani hawaendi shule sababu hawana school fees. Wengine hata saa hii wanasema wamefukuzwa sababu kama wale wako form 4 wanaambiwa create balance na hawana hiyo pesa, na wazazi wako chini sababu hii COVID.
Meanwhile, a middle-aged woman in Esikulo village in Matayos, Busia County, has been arrested for failing to take her 2 children to school over spiritual beliefs. Susan Awino, a mother of 3, was arrested alongside her 2 children, a Class 5 pupil and a Form 1 student, by police officers from Esikulo Police Camp in collaboration with the area assistant chief. Awina says she denied her children access to school over spiritual beliefs, claiming that going to school was a sin. She says she does not belong to any specific church, but she is a Christian. The 3 are being detained at Busia Police Station under the Children Protection Unit. And the irony is Awino and her husband went to school, with Awino finishing Class 8 and her husband finishing Form 4.
Masomo ya dunia hii ni dhambi kwa sababu dunia hii wenye wamesoma wote ndio unapata wanaingia kwa vitu ambavyo havifai. Sasa hakuna haja watoto wangu kwenda shule. Elimu kama ni dhambi, sasa siwezi nikawaruhusu kwenda shule.
Mtoto chini ya miaka 18 hana ushawishi wote kwa mzazi na hana kile kibali cha kutoa uamuzi fulani. Unless kama fikisha miaka 18 anaweza kuwa na uamuzi fulani. So hawa watoto wameweza kuwa brainwashed na haya mafundisho ya unafiki.
Na inatakana tuwashughulikie vile bado wanataka warudi shuleni katika umri yao ili wawe na bright future.
Hata wakiishi CPU but they will be voting back to school and coming back. Shida tunaona kama ni bomb, sio watoto. Najua ni mtoto anaelekezwa na mzazi.
All right, let's take a quick break now. We'll be back. Stay with us.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Maji, mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa? Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui, na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Panties just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, a local administrator in Baringo North has been accused of vandalizing water pipes which were meant to solve water problems in the community over a long-standing clan feud. Ruth Sarmoy reports.
Isaac Chemjor, Kaptiberewa location chief, has been accused of cutting over 8 water pipes that were connecting water to a section of residents in his location. The residents accused the chief of orchestrating the vandalism, saying that this is the 3rd time the pipes are being destroyed and they have spent huge amounts of money in repairing since they are in dire need of the resource.
Tangu jana nilisikia huzuni sana kwa sababu sisi tunaendanga maji kilomita 10 na sisi tunanunua maji cherikeni moja kwa shilingi 50. Na sasa hii tunasikia uchungu kwa sababu chief mwenyewe anafanya hii kazi alafu tumie watu wa KTB.
The chief, who was confronted by the media to respond to the allegations, ran away and at some point tried to attack the journalists. The residents say it is quite unfortunate that their joy has been cut short by the person who is supposed to safeguard development projects in the community.
Hii value ambayo imekatwa saa hii ya the other evening, nikiangalia kama ile ilichukua 20,000 na ni kitu kidogo, mimi naona kama hii ni nusu milioni. Nikihesabu pipes ile imeharibika kutoka huko mwisho ni karibu 9 pipes. Kuna ingine imekata lakini amekata kidogo kwa katikati na hiyo haitumiki tena. Sasa hatujui ni sisi wananchi sangapi tunasomesha watoto, ni sangapi tunapambana na uchumi, na sangapi tunaenda kurekebisha pipes ambayo shetani amekata.
Last year, the chief was accused of fencing off a section of the road which was constructed by the county government, hence blocking Kitibei Primary School pupils from accessing their school. Ruth Sarmoy, NTV.
The Kenya National Highways Authority and the French contractor awarded the contract to construct the 160 billion shilling road from Nairobi to the Mau Summit have begun environmental and social impact assessment of the project before groundbreaking in October. The more than 200-kilometer road is expected to ease the traffic on the busy Nairobi-Nakuru highway by expanding the road into a 4-lane dual carriageway. The road also serves as a link between the inland container depot in Naivasha and the proposed industrial park, and will have a 4-kilometer elevated highway through Nakuru town. However, Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui has asked for modifications along the route, which will favor the growth of the town. According to Kenya engineers, the road will be financed in part by the private sector.
The contractor will design road. The contractor will also mobilize financing. He constructs the roads and then maintains the road for 26.5 years. The construction is scheduled to take 3.5 years. Then at the tail end of the 26.5, they revert the asset back to government to continue with its maintenance.
See how to speed it up, and also to confirm that I think this is actually a reviewed timeline. What we had before was around May this year. So, and I think that was actually, we've continued to review forward until now. Then the next question will be, even that October, whether it will still be reviewed. So I think it's important to make sure, this being maybe the second PPP, the only one I know is the one that's currently ongoing in Nairobi.
And effective Monday, the 8th of February, all consolidated cargo imported by sea and transported to Nairobi through the standard gauge railway will be deconsolidated, cleared and collected at the Kenya Railways Corporation Boma Line Transit Shed. This follows the recent gazettement of various facilities to be used for deconsolidation and clearance of cargo imported by small-scale traders as a measure geared towards enhancing the ease of doing business. Additionally, traders with goods of customs value of $10,000 or less will now be allowed to make their import declaration via mobile app or a direct direct assessment entry, while those with goods of customs value above $10,000 will clear through a registered clearing agent in the customs system. The transit shed is expected to serve approximately 7,500 small traders in Nairobi and its environs and will accommodate approximately 140 food containers per month. Communities residing along the mangrove forest in Kilifi and Lamu counties have started benefiting from a mangrove regeneration program. The program, which was first introduced in Lamu County, has seen more than 2,000 hectares of gazetted mangrove forest adopted and more than 3 million trees have been planted. According to Eden Reforestation Projects, the project has also created employment to the youth and the most vulnerable people within the community. The organization is targeting to plant at least 30 million of both mangroves and terrestrial trees before the end of the 5-year program. Meanwhile, a family of a 17-year-old boy who was shot dead in Likoni is mourning as they accuse police officers of using excessive force. Masood Matano, a Form 2 dropout, was shot dead 3 times last night in Kindugugoni area. According to Jane Munyuoki, the Likoni Sub-County Police Commander, Masood, a known criminal who had a case pending in court and is said to have been terrorizing residents in Likoni. However, the family claims that their son was mentally ill and was currently under treatment. They want relevant authorities to intervene so that they can also get justice.
Mimi nilipigiwa simu nyumbani na yule mama ambaye tuko naye kule nyumbani, akaniambia kulikuja watu, akasema wao ni polisi. Basi wakawarafu, lazima waingia na nyumba. Yule akamwambia mwenyewe ni mgonjwa, karibu wiki nzima alikuwa hapa ndani, siwezi. Akawafungulia, wakaingia, wakaanza kupekesheni kila mahali, wakasema wanatafuta Matano na kile kitakachompata sisi tutalia na wao. Hatima yake leo asubuhi ya leo nimepigiwa simu na ndio imekuwa hivyo, tayari ni marehemu amepigwa risasi 3.
Tuko na cases 3 tayari ziko active katika mwaka huu. Kwa hivyo huenda ikawa ni ishara ya nyingi zaidi ambazo zitatokea katika Coast Region. Kwa hivyo tunaomba utendakazi katika idara za usalama, tunaomba IG, tunaomba IPOA wa step up on their job because these things are getting out of hand.
Na hakuna lolote linafanyiwa. Tumeona Lamu watu walipigwa misumari sehemu zao za nyeti na ni polisi waliofanya kazi ile. Wakati wa kafi watu wameumizwa, na sisi kama Muhuri na pamoja na Kiafrika na mashirika mengine hata kubaliana na masuala haya, lazima Matano apate haki yake.
Now, going back to one of our top stories this hour, Siaya County is the first county to pass the Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2020 as the members of the County Assembly are still and have just finished debating the matter. And it was an almost full house when a report on the public participation was tabled by the chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, Francis Otieto, who is also a member of the County Assembly for East Yimbo Ward. The members have debated the report and feedback from their public participation after they voted on the bill. The MCAs were not allowed to make any changes to the referendum bill and were only required to either adopt or reject it in totality. Other counties are also in the process of either introducing the bill to their respective assemblies or at the public participation stage. Well, in other stories making headlines globally, the World Health Organization experts have inspected a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan that some U.S. officials said could have been the source of the coronavirus, as global vaccine hopes rose with strong results reported for Russia's Sputnik V jab. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown no signs of slowing down, even as vaccines are rolled out, with known infections surging past 103 million, more than 2.2 million dead, and the global economy devastated. A WHO team searching for clues about the pandemic's origins went to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, one of the most watched stops on a politically sensitive trip to the central Chinese city where the virus was first detected. Peter, one of the experts, said the team was looking forward to a very productive day and asking all the questions that need to be asked. But top WHO officials, including members of the team, have played down the chances of finding any definitive answers on this trip. Now, Joe Biden's immigration reform push received a boost on Tuesday when the Senate confirmed his pick to head the Department of Homeland Security as the U.S. president seeks to roll back Donald Trump's headline policies. Cuban-born Alejandro Mayorkas becomes the first Latino and the first immigrant to head up DHS. His approval gives the expansive agency its first permanent leadership in nearly 2 years and becomes the head of Biden's planned signing of 3 executive orders aimed at streamlining immigration. Biden plans to reform the U.S. immigration system after what was widely criticized as abusive anti-foreigner policy under Trump. One of the orders will be put in place a working group tasked with reuniting migrant families separated by Trump's zero-tolerance policy installed back in 2018.
From all 3 of us, the Vice President is going to sign the first order, which is a reestablishment of the interagency task force and the reunification of families. Remove the stain on the reputation.
Now, a prototype of the SpaceX rocket company hopes will one day journey to Mars crashed in a fireball as it tried to land upright after a test flight. It was the second such accident after the last prototype of Starship met a similar fate in December. The company's founder, Elon Musk, was uncharacteristically quiet on social media, having announced the night before he was off Twitter for a while. The stainless steel rocket, dubbed SN9 or serial number 9, was cleared for liftoff from Boca Chica, Texas by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration less than a day earlier. The rocket launched smoothly and progressively shut down its engine as it reached a height of 10 kilometers, then performed a series of test maneuvers in a horizontal belly flop position. It was when the rocket attempted to return to a vertical position for landing that the problems began, with the footage showing it came in too fast and at a bad angle. It landed with a deafening crash and exploded into bright orange flames and a dust cloud. But the fire did not spread. The company's next prototype rocket, SN10, appeared to be undamaged on a nearby launch pod. Instructor put a positive spin on the crash. Well, some sporting action now, and Posta Rangers will look to get back to winning ways in the Football Kenya Federation Premier League when they faced Bidco United away in Wednesday's only game. The Mailmen lost 2-1 to FC Leopards last time out, and Posta currently placed 12th on 10 points, while Bidco are 15th with 8 points after 10 games. Bidco will also be looking for a win, having suffered back-to-back losses in the league that leaves them teetering close to the red zone. Tusker leads the log on 23 points from 10 matches. Zoo FC tailed with just 2 points from 6 matches. FC Leopards is 4th on 18 points ahead of the Mashemeji Derby, with the opponents Gor Mahia 6th on 15 points from 8 matches. The Mashemeji Derby is slated for Sunday at Kasarani Stadium. Manchester United equalled the Premier League record by putting 9 goals past 9-man Southampton, the second time Saints have lost 9-0 in as many seasons. Aaron Wan-Bissaka opened the scoring with his first goal at the Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford and Edison Cavani also found the net either side of a Jan Badnerek own goal before the break. Anthony Martial then scored a double in the second half as Scott Tomine, Bruno Fernandes and Dan James completed the rout. Southampton were on the end of the same scoreline against Leicester City in October 2019. It is the only third time a team has lost 9-0 in the Premier League, with United also beating Ipswich Town by that margin in 1995. It was opposite scenes for Arsenal, who went down 2-1 to Wolves, and in other results, Crystal Palace got a 2-1 win away to Newcastle as Sheffield edged out West Brom by a similar margin.
McTominay now, it is 6. Drilled in by Scott McTominay. So in your own time, Mike, what's going on? Penalty. And a card too. And it's red. Off goes Jan for Southampton. Bruno Fernandes makes it 7 for Manchester United.
All right, and that's all we had lined up for you this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. More news later on at our 7 and 9 p.m. bulletins. Also remember, Kigoda Chako will be airing at 6 p.m. You do not want to miss that conversation with Salim Swaleh. My name is Zainab Ismail. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good afternoon.
This is NTV.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go.